The video has started. I just don't know how to begin because I'm still gathering my thoughts. It was an absolute pathetic, shambolic, clueless piece of catch-up performance by the Pakistani team. I mean, is this what the build-up was for? This? Just tell me this. When teams, their captains, their coaches prepare for a game of this magnitude, where I would assume they discuss their strengths, maximizing the opportunities and exploiting the weaknesses of the opponent, what does the Pakistani team do? Do they put their heads together and come up with the most embarrassing way to lose? Yeah, I think that's what they do, because it's like they especially choose to perform the worst possible way against India when a gazillion eyeballs are watching. And I'm not kidding. I think the only thing Pakistan planned for this game and then thought, well, that's it. That's the only change needed, was to have Salman Agha bowl the first over. And they thought, well, job done. Because after that first over was bowled, there was no intent. There was no commitment, no match awareness, nothing tactical. I mean, no cricketing sense whatsoever shown. But when you listen to the Islamabad United coach, Mike Hesson, in the post-match conference, you think you were in a different realm altogether. Like, was I hallucinating or was he high on something? Because this stubborn coach said that it was the right decision to bowl, even though teams batting first have won. And Pakistan has the worst record chasing. In fact, they barely made it over the line against Netherlands last week on the backs of Fahim Ashraf and that drop catch by O'Dowd. Nonetheless, frankly, it was a pleasant surprise to see Salman Agha bowling the first over, and he was rewarded too, getting that prize wicket of Abhishek Sharma, who was the most talked about in the Indian side, especially when he wasn't well and sat out in that game against Namibia. And when he got his wicket, I thought, well, we're in for something here. But then number 6-7, Pakistan's genius tactical captain throws the ball to Pakistan's premium fast bowler, who has done nothing but fail at the premium level over and over again. And in my previous video, I mentioned Shaheen's stats and his performance in the Asia Cup against the Indian side, where he took just one wicket in the 3 games and was expensive throughout the tournament. He was welcomed by a 6 and a 4 by Ishan Kishan, who was in top form, scoring 60-something runs on 20-something balls against Namibia with a strike rate over 250 the other day. And if you forget everything and just compare Shaheen's first over with Bumrah's first over, both of whom bowled in the power play, they speak louder than words. I mean, for how long will Pakistan carry this dead weight for? Shaheen, the eagle, has been nosediving so deep into the ground for a long while. And after the humiliating loss against the US in the previous World Cup, the PCB chairman said that there will be surgical changes in the team. Well, what changes? Shaheen's still in the team. In fact, we have the other son-in-law, also Shadab Khan, but I'll come to him in a bit. The only thing that has been surgically removed from the Pakistani camp is nurturing and managing talent. The board, the management, selectors, all these guys have no clue. They opt to sit out informed players and only rotate them in and out in pointless bilateral series. I mean, they back senior players that haven't been performing for God knows how long. And I'm not saying Salman Mirza would have ripped through the entire Indian lineup, because let's face it, it's not like Pakistan has done anything in favor of his confidence. I mean, he was benched against the USA when he bowled well and bagged 3 wickets in the game against Netherlands in the World Cup. And he's played 1 match in the series against Australia that they won, and 1 against Sri Lanka that they tied. So this is how they rotate their players. No chance of development, no chance of gaining experience by being challenged in, let's say, different situations. No growth, just nothing. Still, at the very least, if you're going to back a bowler like Shaheen Shah Afridi, who has nothing left in his arsenal, either in the front or in the death overs, despite being given a gazillion chances, the least you could do is give 1 chance to Salman Mirza too. But I knew they wouldn't even consider Mirza, which is why I didn't even include him in my 11 in my previous video. And for all those coming at me, it wasn't my ideal 11. So let's just get that straight. It was a make do 11 looking at the squad. And I said it would make sense to go with Naseem Shah as the next one available, but no. The stubborn coach and captain went with an unchanged squad as if they had been blazing through the tournament so far. Now, coming back to Captain Agha's decision, I mean, you can have a whole bucket load of spinners in your team, but for them to do any damage, you need to have the right captaincy who can rotate them properly. No, so for all the talks, the media frenzy, the craze, I mean, we even saw Surya Kumar Yadav trying his action too, but we didn't see Usman Tariq bowl till the 11th over. I mean, I was waiting, like twiddling my thumbs, wondering what in the world, but Usman Tariq was introduced in the 11th over after Ishan Kishan had done the damage and Pakistan was on the back foot trying to crawl out of the hole they dug deep themselves. Oh, and coach Mike Hesson said this was the right decision too. So he was the sixth bowler to bowl after Shadab Khan and after Muhammad Nawaz. Frankly, thank God Shadab wasn't reintroduced after he was belted for 17 runs by Ishan Kishan in the only over he bowled. I mean, Shadab was in absolute shambles in the field, but hey, another son-in-law we can't question. But do you guys remember, he came straight into the team after being released from the hospital as a vice captain, was supposed to be a captain, but couldn't be a captain because the fans went ballistic. So yeah, him. No domestic cricket practice under his belt, probably just stopped over for a coffee before making his way right back into the team from the hospital. And I mentioned in my previous video that yes, he had a good day against the US, but he will be tested against India, and tested he was. But again, tests are for those who want to pass, who want to do better and excel, actually care about the results. When you're a son-in-law, then you don't need to, right? If you look at Pakistan spin bowling overall, it wasn't a Brar's day, for sure. But for some reason, despite bowling 2 economical overs and getting a wicket in that too, the captain opted not to finish his quota, which was yet another mind-boggling decision by the captain today. And on the other hand, Salman Agha was superb throughout his spell, throughout his 4 overs, which included 2 overs. He had 2 overs in the power play, and he had a double wicket over that clearly pushed India back in the 15th over also. Or else India was well set for a score above 200 when Ishan Kishan was batting. So 6 bowlers bowled from the Pakistan side, including the captain, but the one who had the most impact in the Asia Cup final, taking 3 wickets, never bowled. I guess Fahim Ashraf is just not in the favor list or does not have a strong enough father-in-law, because on the one hand, India's medium fast bowler Hardik Pandya opens the bowling and gets a wicket maiden up front, but Pakistan captain and the coach forget about the only medium fast bowler, Fahim Ashraf, in their side. And frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if he was asked about this. Mike Hesson would probably say it was the right decision not to have Fahim bowl too. And to top it all, there were some interesting umpiring decisions too. I mean, Surya Kumar Yadav got a lifeline, which allowed him to continue anchoring the side. But one thing that was present in the Indian batters, and clearly, absolutely clearly lacking in Pakistani batters, was game awareness. Their ability, and the lack of their ability to adapt to the changes. For Indians, after the thumping innings by Ishan Kishan, who single-handedly took the game away, we saw Tilak Varma and Hardik Pandya try to also go for big shots, but because they lost their wickets, we did see Surya Kumar Yadav and Shivam Dubey change their games, change gears. They didn't mindlessly try to aim for the skies, while on the other hand, the Pakistani batters all tried to play like Ishan Kishan and failed. Speaking of Pakistani batters, I'll start with the openers. I quite literally said in my previous video that Salman Agha and Farhan should look to stay on the crease longer and maximize their stay in the power play. But they didn't even last 2 overs. Saim had notable starts in the previous 2 matches, but for some reason doesn't seem interested in sticking around long. And the same was today. I mean, seemed like he already had made up his mind to play some pointless, I don't know, no look shot or some other unnecessary innovation that only cost him his wicket. Farhan, I guess, can still boast that Bumrah didn't take his wicket, but that's all that he can be happy about. Salman Agha then came, also didn't read the situation well, and I feel I sound like a broken record when I say this, but Pakistan tends to lose wickets in clusters where one becomes two and then two becomes three. And in this case, Agha was the third. Then came the king, Babar Azam, who played that mindless, pathetic shot, and for some reason just loves to give away his wicket to spinners. I mean, I said in my previous whip video, only God knows in what way Babar Azam will cause our blood pressures to rise. And for those who were screaming on top of their lungs for his inclusion during the Asia Cup, well, here he is. He arrived and left after scoring 5 runs, bowled by lefty Akshar Patel when Pakistan was 334 in desperate need of an anchor. And for those blaming the management, well, does Babar Azam not have a mind of his own? I mean, I never saw him opted to do anything to improve or get himself out of the rut that he is in for a long time. You know, he didn't opt to play first class cricket. You know, I even saw people suggesting that he go to play county cricket, but what did he do instead? He went to play in the BBL, league cricket. And what did he gain from there? Well, obviously, dollars, nothing else. Because when it mattered, Steve Smith denied him a single to retain strike and score for the team. Unfortunately, the same courage and grit cannot be found in the Pakistani selectors, nor the coach, nor the captain, who couldn't sit him out for the betterment of the team during the World Cup. Usman Khan was wayward in the beginning, but was able to get some runs under his belt, but then got out trying to go for a big one. All was needed was a partnership and to stick around and play deep. So Surya Kumar Yadav did that when they were tested against the USA. He hung around and then saw the team through till the end. There was no one in the Pakistani side who remotely thought to play till the end. In fact, no one even played for the team. You could see everyone was playing for themselves, one after another. All of Hassan's all-rounders tried to play big shots in the hopes of releasing a documentary under their name. All that led to was them hurrying back to the dugout. And the way they were getting out, it looked like they just wanted to be off the field. And frankly, at that point in time, we all did too. The game was quite literally finished within the first 2 overs of Pakistan's batting. And, one can even argue it was finished when Shaheen Afridi was given the ball. But when it comes to Pakistani batters, it's sorry to say, none look like they play at the international level. But watch, come Wednesday against Namibia, they will dive, they will slide, innovate. We'll see Yorkers, left, right, and center from the Pacers. And they will give it their all like it's the final against Australia, because why not? That's the only place they'll perform. I mean, Pakistan batting was spineless with tacticless bat swinging, mindless pace bowling, and confusing captaincy. The result, a thumping 61 runs defeat against a side who did well. And if you take out Ishan Kishan's batting, which was obviously absolutely incredible, I don't think India did anything outside of the box. It is just that the Pakistan side finds innovative ways to lose. Pakistan has kings, eagles, and a bucket load of all-rounders, but all we're asking for are proper batters and bowlers. Is that too much to ask? Many will say Pakistan should have just gone ahead with the boycott after this turnout. And honestly, at one point, that's what I was thinking. But then that would mean they're using it for their gains, right? Because the PCB said the boycott was in solidarity with Bangladesh. Boycott or not, Pakistan's performance is not surprising. I mean, what is painful is how easily they give up the fight and how defensive they are when questioned about their approach, whether it be the captain or the coach. Oh, and there were no handshakes again, which Sanjay Manjrekar called out to be silly. And before the match, Harsha Balgle also expressed that the enjoyment has kind of been sucked out of the game due to these, due to the political involvement and all these talks about monetary gains all the time. And I don't know if the so-called talks between the ICC and the boards of Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh took place because the ICC chairman, Jay Shah, never left the Indian side, forgetting or intentionally pointing out, which side he's on. But then I can't expect anything dignified or spirited from him anyway. He was enjoying sharing the frame with the icon Rohit Sharma, which, it was nice to see Rohit Sharma and, kind of sad not to see him on the field. But I don't think Jay Shah needed to be, his shadow the whole time. Anyway, that's it for now. I shall see you in my next video. Until then, take care.